guys, it's bringing you another video. Now welcome to another viewer Spectate. Today we're on the North American server, so once again on North America, and we are featuring a JHIN, one of my favorite aesthetic champions, I would say. I just think everything about JHIN is when champion design on both aesthetic and even kit mesh so well together. JHIN is like the ultimate of that. Again, it does show that Riot August can be a great champion designer, but maybe he's just gone a bit off the rails recently. Again, just so much so that people are aware how good JHIN's everything goes together. JHIN's whole theme is 4. His name is made out of 4 characters, you know, JHIN. And if you have a standard kind of QWERTY keyboard that follows like at least the same pattern of keyboard I have, spell out JHIN on your keyboard. It goes J to H to I to N. It actually makes a number 4. It's just absolutely insane. So anyway, sorry about that. So today we are watching Deathmonger in Platinum. Comp-wise, both comps are kind of spicy. The only negative I would obviously give the enemy comp is that they are full AD. JHIN going for an interesting... was going for a W steal for the red. Again, I know it's the type of thing, if it pays off, it pays off big, but the chance of you getting that is so astronomically low. I wouldn't, like right now, you could have got those 3 farm by having that Q and it bouncing and you getting the farm. It does put you at a disadvantage ultimately, and most of the time you're not going to get that. So straight away, I understand there's a bit of a, you know, it might work, but 9 times out of 10, and this is just, I would say, a basic lesson for League of Legends, 9 times out of 10, if you want to climb, the best thing you can be is consistent. Consistent rules everything, and consistently your Q and having that for you to get the early first hits is consistently better than taking W and looking for a red steal at level 1. So Triss trying to get a pretty good E, not bad by her, to be honest. So anything worth mentioning as for comps, apart from the fact obviously the enemy team's full AD, Udyr top's a bit funky. I have heard some people are saying Udyr is actually, the new Dyr is better in top than jungle. I'm not sure how true that is, but I have heard through the grapevine people believe that. You know, we even watched, I believe it was like a high rating Spectate a few days ago. I can't even remember what champion was it on. But he was against an Udyr in that game and he wrecked face. It might have been Renekton actually. Was it Renekton? Maybe. Yeah, I think it was. And yeah, Udyr goes down. It was a 2v2 fight in the river, and they do end up losing that. I'm honestly not too surprised a Vi Udyr lost a 2v2 versus the Jax Kha'Zix. You know, just say those champions out loud, and a Jax Kha'Zix is stronger. So early levels, Tristana naturally is a pushing champion. She pushes in her wave. You know, even if she only last hits, she only auto attacks for last hits, Tristana's will still naturally kind of push in because of the AoE explosion that happens from hitting something, killing something when she has leveled her E at all. So she naturally does have that push. So that is one of the disadvantages of Trist. Obviously, in my Unranked Diamond series, we've been focusing on the underrated champions, the champions that are not meta but played in their role. I don't know of me uploading everything because I am bulk recording at the moment. I don't know if the Tristana episode is out yet, but there either has been or will be a Tristana episode, and she's actually, I find, pretty good. She's pretty good in lane phase, and she's a hyperscaling AD carry that gets long range in late game. So why does she not get played? Well, firstly is, I would say, she probably does deserve to get played more than she does right now. But people do have that. It's a disadvantage to always be pushing in your lane, no matter what you do. That is not great, and that is one of her negatives. But in my opinion, and again, where I do think League has kind of gone a bit away from that, every single champion should have strengths, and every single champion should have weaknesses. And a lot of the older champions very much have that. Newer champions, their weaknesses, I would say, are a little bit more blurred. It's harder to tell the weakness sometimes. All right, so big engage coming out. Vi going for it. Nautilus flashing. So does Vi. Good flash by Deathmonger, and does finish off the Triss. Double sums used by Triss with also Nautilus flash. Kha'Zix getting killed in the 2v1. Wow, that's pretty good by the new Dyr. And JHIN getting a nice kill there. So that was really good. I liked, obviously, the Alistar engage. You know, a champion that, I'll be honest, again, I've not played Alistar. yet in the underrated champions or non-meta champions, but Alistar could 100% be played in the Unranked Diamond like mini series we're doing of playing the off-meta champs but in their role. Because Alistar, the problem with Alistar, and I'll say it right now, you know, it's a bit of a spoiler if we do that video, why is Alistar not played in comparison to his alternatives? He's simply not as good. He's simply not as good as a Nautilus. He's simply not as good. Hell, he gets counted by Renata hard. You know, that's the problem with Alistar. He does feel old, and he doesn't have as strong engage tools as the others. You know, that it has to be said. Like, even Leona, I would say, is better than Alistar, and you don't even see Leona as much anymore. So anyway, returning to lane, have to be careful, which I like Deathmonger is, because again, where was the Nautilus? Didn't have full vision of him, so I liked that it, you know, backed off a little bit. And it always does suck in some ways. Your support went mid lane from base. You know, you want to get back in the farm, back into it, and you can't because, I'm 2v1. So it does slow sometimes your momentum down, and generally, I understand why the Alistar went mid, but your AD carry just got a kill. You'll have item power spike over the Trist. Ultimately, sometimes it's the wrong lane to go. Oh, that W missed. Wow. Sometimes it's the worst thing to do is get away the momentum of the AD carry that just got a kill. So Kha'Zix, I actually completely missed that. He just get absolutely obliterated. So he's dead. Unfortunately, okay, so some of these JHIN W's not the most accurate. Vi does go down. Alistar does a W, which I think caught the Vi by surprise. Not sure she could have survived that anyway. But yeah, we need to get these W's a little bit more accurate on the JHIN. I would say Deathmonger straight away is very much prioritizing the W. And what I'd say about that is I wouldn't prioritize the W over most of the time an auto attack or something of that nature for JHIN, because ultimately your W is not going to, one, do more than probably a standard auto, but JHIN's ultimate goal in any big trade or any big fight is getting to that fourth shot to do the big damage, and you using a W in a time that you may not need to delays getting that fourth shot. So what I would say is, you know, there's nothing terrible or there's nothing bad at all. Meanwhile, good gank by Alistar, so that time it works. And also, you're not screwing the JHIN because he's not even back in lane phase yet. So that's a good time for Alistar to roam. But, yeah, ultimately, maybe prioritize the W a little bit less. Because, again, we obviously maxed or leveled W level 1. Every single fight, there's all the Ws going on instead of potentially an auto here or there. And just a little bit of a shift. I'm not saying W is a bad thing. Obviously, it's JHIN's form of CC. It's a good thing. But I would say the auto priority should be the #1 thing. Alright, so I would actually crazy push it here because Dragon has been done. Good timing because the enemy bot lane was on the way. You could turn this. Oh, God. Okay, Kha'Zix, hello. Good E, gave vision of the Kha'Zix. Unfortunate miss there by the LeBlanc. Kha'Zix trying to do a bit of juking. JHIN is on the way. Big knock up. There's the W, and that's completely fine time to do it. Keep moving forward. The Nautilus can't kill you. You want to get in to do that damage. And maybe a big ulti over the top. Yes, JHIN ultimate over the top. Bam, gets that kill, and that's going to be that. Again, cancel your ult early if you know you're not going to land anything, because I believe if it's still in the mechanics of JHIN, maybe they got rid of it. But he used to at least have... I can't remember. He used to have... if he doesn't fire all shots, it used to be a lower cooldown, I think. But maybe they got rid of that. Because the weird thing is the cooldown here at rank 1 is 120 seconds. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a little bit lower. Again, if people know a little bit more about the absolute specifics, because that's the thing I will always say about, you know, these spectates is I can give you the broad advice. I do know every single champion in the game, but I'm not a Diamond 1 or Master JHIN main, you know? So there are going to be people that just know these champions better than me. So the Kha'Zix, I would say, a little bit ballsy going for that invade. Maybe they have vision of Vi. Obviously, we on the minimap are looking at the perspective of red team. Unfortunately, again for JHIN, and it has to be said, the Alistar, I think the Alistar is what I would call has puppy syndrome is getting distracted by everything that potentially he shouldn't be. Now, he's going for another gank. They might end up with this kill, and a lot of people go, oh, see, Huz, like, dude, it's working. His ganks are working. Why is that a bad thing? Yay, they got him. Because ultimately, it's not helping your AD carry. And now JHIN gets queued. He does have flash available. He's going to flash. Enemy team is going for a dive. And ultimately, JHIN is dead. So that's the problem. Now, I will say that death by JHIN is technically not 100% Alistair's fault. He did get caught. He was out of positioning. He did get Nautilus queued. All of that is not 100% Alistair's fault by any means. What I don't like is Alistair is not prioritizing his AD carry. Now, I do know there are some supports that are, it sounds weird to say, that are like anti-AD carry, that they kind of feel I'm a support of the game, not the support for my AD carry. And that is, I would say, weirdly, the more modern style of supporting is I'm leaving lane from level 3. You know, this Alistair's on a killing spree, 307, high kill participation. I'd say the newer style of supporting is I'm leaving lane at level 3, good luck AD carry no matter what. You know, no matter if you're playing an immobile champ like JHIN, no matter if the enemy support is staying bot lane like this Nautilus is, I'm roaming, good luck. I'm definitely in the party. You guys know if you watch my support play, I stay bot lane. It's actually quite rare for me to roam. I would only roam if my AD carry is at base at the same time. Like earlier, the Alistair timed a good gank because JHIN wasn't even in lane. But when that I'm roaming is my default play style, I think it's a bit too much. And I think the supports should prioritize their AD carry. Ultimately, in most games, the AD carry can output the most damage in the game. There are some exceptions to that, you know, a Yone or something, but in this particular match, AD carries are going to be doing a lot of damage. I'd want to protect that, you know, it's that as simple as that. Meanwhile, big fight happening over Rift. Smite does come down. Alistair again, no interest of going bot lane, so he's in the area still. Enemy team committing to a fight, but may have been a mistake. It is a mistake. And there we go. So Nautilus is mid, so he's not bot lane right now. Tristana's staying bot lane. Nice hit by JHIN there. Oh, and then can we hit it? Bam! Lovely. That's what we want to see. A 1v1 kill. Mistake by Tristana, obviously, to get hit by the W under tower. But that was good. That was really good. So when I've said, you know, oh, you should be prioritizing auto, getting Tristana, you know, rooted in a tower is a great use of W, clearly. So yeah, that was awesome. Very nice there. Good play. Don't think, you know, yeah, Triss had double summons potentially available at the time. JHIN had none, so that's actually a really bad death by Triss. Triss even had item advantage. She had her Kraken Slayer, where JHIN did not. So yeah, that was really good. And then the weird thing is the time that technically Alistair doesn't need to be bot lane, he, you know, JHIN just got a solo kill, he's then bot lane. So the Alistair, I just say, is on a little bit of a different page than the JHIN. A bit of overstay by Deathmonger. I think this is a bit of accepting the death. You'd want to try and give it to Nautilus, but no, not going to happen. So a little bit of overstay has to be said. So, you know, when to back out is an important skill. What are you gaining? The moment that you got the first tower plate, you're not going to get something else with the times. You know, it's not late into the game. Just get out of there, keep your life. But yeah. All right, so Rift would use. Kha'Zix's going to go for a kill. Chasing down on a Blanc. Really hard, obviously, to do. Oh. I kind of forgot also to mention what rating we're in. This is a dead Kha'Zix. That's a really bad death, actually, by Kha'Zix, because Dragon has just spawned. But yeah, rating-wise, let me just double-check. I believe we're in, like, Plat, maybe? Yeah, Plat. So we're in Plat 4. Plat 4 in North America. Alistair good re-engage, and they will end up with a bunch of kills there. So that's overall really good. Dragon's available. Vi should maybe translate, you know, all those kills into a Dragon. So ultimately, any little bit of advice that I can give so far from watching. So, yeah, prioritize autos maybe a bit more. Not always W every time. Try to get that fourth shot as much as you can. I would say, you know, it's hard to give all the advice because I do think JHIN would be doing even better if Alistair was more prioritized in this lane. I'm not saying the Alistair's playing bad. You know, the guy's 508. He's got high kill participation. He's doing good. It's just he's not prioritizing the JHIN. Like most supports, you know. Oh, this Kha'Zix is having a bit of a nightmare game. I just did notice something though. I don't know if anybody else has. The Kha'Zix's name has Vi in it, so that might very well be a Vi one trick. Has been her pick. The Vi one trick has been taken away. The pick. Someone else picked Vi, so now very uncomfortable on a different champion. That would be my guess, because yeah, we're seeing some odd decisions of when to go in, really, by the Kha'Zix, and usually that's a telltale sign that I don't play this champion. Okay, so what I would also say right now, the Jhin is doing a good thing of, even though you're a level up, I would say at this part of the game, you do have to be very careful of Tristana's all-in potential. I would say in an absolute all-in, a Tristana should kill a Jhin if she plays it correctly. So the Jhin, and you can tell by the positioning, he's walking, he's weaving, he is respecting that, and I do think that's actually good. Alistar's now back in bot lane. Crazy, surprise, surprise. Again, he probably will be behind on the support item. LeBlanc gets herself a shutdown and actually survives. First time Nautilus is actively trying to make stuff happen, probably because he feels he's been a bit overdone by the Alistar. But yeah, I don't think anything's going to come majorly off that. Again, the Kha'Zix, again, really weird E. So again, don't... A telltale sign that this guy might not play Kha'Zix, he burns E randomly. E is a very valuable thing on Kha'Zix because that is your repositioning when, you know, apart from your ult, it's very, very valuable, and he's just blowing it. He's just jumping it here, all there, or everywhere. So Tristana actually moves mid lane. Don't see many, you know, missing pings in bot lane, so that communication, if you're not using chat, make sure you're using those pings. It should be your primary focus of communication in League of Legends, in modern day League. So yeah, make sure you're getting them. Even if you think, like, nothing major is going to happen, just get that missing ping. I know 9 times out of 10 people ignore it, but at least if it's, hey, my AD carry's missing, I'm just letting my team know. I think she's going to go buy an item, she's just going to return to bot lane, still ping it. Still, you know, even in the early game, it's 2 minutes in, you bullied the Tristana out of lane, she has to go back, still ping missing, because you never know. You never know if, you know, what you did tilted her. I'm going to go mid lane to try and get a cheesy kill, and then she shows up in mid at level 2, and then she gets a cheesy kill. But if your mid laner is aware, okay, the AD carry is missing right now, I'll just be a little bit careful. It's a better situation, obviously. Okay, so farm, not do too bad. Definitely staying within the game and within the realm of where we want to be. Especially, obviously, you know, the fact that a lot of the lane phase, the Jhin has been alone from the Alistar. So that makes farming obviously harder because you're having to give up a lot more farm, because if the Nautilus is staying in mid lane, which he has this game, you're having to go, all right, I have to kind of leave this, otherwise I'm dead. And obviously the one time that Jhin didn't want to leave things fully alone is one of the deaths that Jhin obviously has got. So very aggressive play by the enemy team. Nautilus picking himself up a double kill, and that is a tier 2 dive gone wrong, although the LeBlanc does end up killing the Trist. Nautilus is on the area again. Obviously, you can see people are a little bit spicy in the chat. Exhaust early by the Jhin into the root, trying to force the orange. Big DPS, get away from him to then to the ult. Good plan. Scouting the location, hits the second shot into the nice kill. Not really sure what's going on with the enemy team, that they are very much underestimating the damage of Jhin, but it's very good. And, you know, I know it sounds weird to say, but it's a positive that Jhin is taking these opportunities and turning them into kills. The Tristana died near the tower. The Gangplank has now died at the tower. Again, one of the biggest things I can always say that people could improve on, when people go, I'm in silver, how do I get gold? Or I'm in gold, how do I get plat? Or how can I climb eventually to diamond? Take the opportunities that come. You know, when you watch, I would say, especially kind of lower rated games, there's a bunch of players, and when you watch them, you can actually go like, there's a kill there and nothing happens. There's a kill there, nothing happens. Because you're not taking the opportunities that the enemy team are giving you, you know? One of the biggest things, even in high rating, is most of the time, it's not about outplaying. It's about looking at the mistakes that the enemy is making and making use of their mistakes. That's the easiest way to win. Actually, outplaying your opponent is the hardest way. But mistakes, use a mistake. That's the thing. It's the biggest opening you could ever ask for. And so far this game, the Jhin has made good use of, you know, some of the mistakes the enemy team has made. So Vi gets caught in the jungle. There is a bunch of them in the jungle, which is a little bit weird how many there were, but yeah. Enemy team who are behind, they might be feeling a bit more defensive, so they might be traveling a bit more together just in case the enemy team is feeling a bit spicy. Kha'Zix just randomly pops Yumu's. That's bizarre. Enemy team is definitely obviously grouping for this dragon. I don't actually have the timers on, so there we go. They're up now. They'll be over there. So dragon is spawning in 2 seconds, and I think this is a give it up, don't risk it, leave it alone. They're 2 dragons to none. Going 2 to 1 isn't the worst thing. And you don't have positioning. You know, if Jhin wanted to walk in there alone, or Udyr, you don't have smite, you don't have anything, just give it up. Again, know when to take the fights is also a skill within League also. All right, so again, obviously I've mentioned at the beginning is the enemy team's comp is never going to be great considering they are full AD. This Kha'Zix has some very weird decisions. We've said that throughout the game. He will escape. He did use Smite, or sorry, Flash. Jhin ult comes down, hits the Trist, hits the Naught, doesn't have the range on the Trist or the angle. Is walking through, gets a double flash by the bot lane, also gets it Tristanig's exhaust. Not bad at all. Again, not every single situation has to turn into a kill. That's still a net positive. You've got the summoners, so probably next time you get a pick or next time you have a Vi ultimate, then the Tristana will die. So it's not a bad thing at all. Obviously, it's better if you get the kill, but yeah. But yeah, enemy team obviously not the best comp, as I said. It's solo queue, and you know it's the thing of where you kind of say solo queue is never the perfect environment for everything because ultimately players play selfish in solo queue, and you know case in point is somebody on the enemy team picked either the mid or the top. Mainly it probably will be the mid laner. Looked at, oh, our comp is full AD. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Gangplank anyway because that's really bad. You know, you want to have a balanced comp. But I'm picking Gangplank anyway because I want to play Gangplank. It's a really selfish thing in some avenues because you're full AD, it's not going to help you have a balanced comp, but ultimately it's your video game. If that's what you want to play, then you're entitled to do it. But it's solo queue, that's the point. It's never about having amazingly balanced, strategized comps. So Baron is now the call. I'd say it's not risky, I would say, but I would have liked maybe a bit more vision around just to make sure Kha'Zix doesn't know that this is happening and goes for a cheeky steal. Obviously, I don't think it's going to happen, but... And there you go. So the enemy team doesn't go for it. They don't have the pressure. Collector, I presume, next, obviously, for the Jhin. Oh, Kha'Zix just heard that the Baron is being killed and into the Alistar dominating. Unfortunately, Gale Force doesn't give Jhin the kill, but I like the idea. And now a translation over. A Jhin ultimate over the top, by the way. Jax is in trouble. Probably not the best angle Jhin ult, but it's not the worst anyway. W misses, unfortunately. Tristana picks herself up a kill. Nautilus Q may have not actually wanted to land that. Gangplank ultimate. Big knockup by Alistar. He doesn't want to die. Remember, he's on a big shutdown. Gangplank 900 gold shutdown. Arguably worth that death for the Gangplank, who's, you know, a late game champion. Oh, hello, Jax. Double flash, just get out of there and don't give a Jax a kill. Because that's the one thing the enemy team has. Even though they are full AD, they have a Jax, they have a Gangplank, they have a Trist. They do have some very scary scaling champions. And if people don't itemize effectively, then it doesn't matter that they're full AD. Like LeBlanc right now has no armor. So to a LeBlanc, it doesn't matter that the enemy team is full AD because she's not itemized against it. Now, I don't actually know. This actually might be bugged because I've noticed the farm hasn't really gone up. So let's close this and reopen it. I think it might... Okay, no, so she's got a Zonya. It might have been bugged a little bit, but the farm has not moved that much, especially for the LeBlanc. But I think it's working now. Interesting build by the Udyr. Goes for Demonic second item. I have heard that potentially is the build if you go the Phoenix route. Or not Phoenix. What's it called? Cryo Phoenix now? What's it called? Glacial form? Wingborn Storm. Sorry, apologies. Nice engage there by the Vi. She's going to... Oh, should have been a bit more patient with positioning there. Kha'Zix might be in the area. Flashes by Jax. Too late. Kha'Zix jumping in. Will get exploded into the reset. But then, ultimately, wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. LeBlanc takes that opportunity very nicely. But yeah, very nice. So, again, some all-typers I have heard. And obviously, I played on North America many years ago. North America, I would say, is a bit of a typey region. But for a different way to EU West. EU West is just an EU Northeast are just straight up toxic, like just straight up bad in terms of toxicity. North America, from my experience, I know North Americans right now go, oh, it's toxic. I know everyone thinks that server is toxic because ultimately most servers are, but from what I experienced and even watching replays, America, they're a lot more, how do I say, they're a lot more jokey, but like, the Udyr this whole game in the all chat is trying to provoke the enemy team. He's not being nice. He's trying to be a bit like, ha ha, we're winning. You know, that's kind of the attitude. And that, oh, Kha'Zix, that ultimately is what I see a lot on North America stuff. Is it is kind of like that, hey, I'm making a point that you're not doing as well, but they try to do it in a jokey kind of way, where EUS, they just, you know, it's horrible, terrible stuff all the time. That's my experience, at least, and, you know, I think it still is true to this day. So yeah, JHIN picks himself up another kill, which is nice. So we are seeing a little bit of a separation of the two AD carries. Ultimately, obviously, the LeBlanc has done very well this game. Not so much with the farm route, but she's doing well in other avenues. And ultimately, that's what LeBlanc is. She's not a farm-intense champion. She is a high snowball kill champion. Otherwise, I don't do that well. Jax, surprise, surprise, is in top lane split pushing. And we did hear an Alistar flash, and I like that, by the way. They want to take the fight to the enemy team, and that's exactly what you should be doing. Gangplank, big ulti. Kha'Zix again going for a mad lad jump into the JHIN. I'm not sure what this Kha'Zix is doing. And JHIN uses that nicely, and they will pick up an inhib. So whenever you see something like, oh, Jax's top lane, you have Baron buff and everything, 100% the right thing for the Alistar of like full all in no matter what, because you're using the fact that someone on the enemy team is just playing it wrong. Jax, for some reason, oh snap, his teleport got cancelled because he tried to TP to that tower, and that tower got killed. Lovely W, and there we go. So apparently Jax quit the game. Fraudster, I have no idea what the Udyr is even talking about at this point. Who knows? Alistar just goes moo, and there we go. So ultimately, from JHIN, the viewer that we are spectating this game, overall very positive. I do think you obviously were dealt the hand of having a support that liked to roam a lot, and that's always going to be a little bit frustrating. But ultimately, it wasn't too bad. Like, I think you could have snowballed bot lane more if Alistar stayed bot lane, but he did a great job around the map. And in reality, for Alistar roaming a lot, you died once. So it's not the worst situation in the world. It just could have been even better for bot lane. But sometimes, you know, yes, there's that way up of, yeah, JHIN could have snowballed more, bot lane could have done better, but Alistar got top lane ahead. He got mid lane ahead. Like, he did do quite a lot. So was that worth it? Probably. But yeah, I'd say about the W stuff, definitely look into that and think about that. And then, yeah, when you are being left alone, obviously just don't position in that way to potentially get caught. But we're all going to get caught every now and then. None of us play perfect. And I never want to say to people, play perfect, or why aren't you playing perfect? Because nobody plays perfect. I'm far from perfect, you know? And I can get Master 140 LP this season on EU West. So that just shows you don't need to play perfect. You need to play consistent. That is the best way to climb. And that's, as I said, is you want to seek consistency. And that's one of the things I would say to Deathmonger. Focus your Q, not your W. Focus your autos, not your W. And go for the W to aid situations when you need the W. If you need to land that route and it is the right time to do it, yeah, then do it. But ultimately, prioritize what you need to prioritize over. But that is going to be it. If you guys did enjoy, please do throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power.